So day two of the MLB winter meetings has just climaxed. What a fantastic day. We're at the climax of a very exciting winter meetings. Day two is officially in the books. And what better way to end off an exciting day two than an official trade that has officially went down and it has been finalized. The New York Yankees and the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs have traded away Starlin Castro to the Pinstripes, the New York Yankees, in exchange for two players in Brendan Ryan and also Adam Warren. Now let's talk about Starlin Castro in this deal. Starlin Castro has been on the Yankees' radar for quite a while now. There has been a lot of rumors going around baseball for the last year or so of possibly getting Starlin Castro over to the New York Yankees to potentially either play second base or shortstop. Those were the two positions the New York Yankees were having a lot of troubles trying to find that replacement for Derek Jeter at shortstop and the Robinson Cano over at second base. The New York Yankees were able to tag along and bring Dustin Ackley over to the New York Yankees. He has not really, turned out 100% so far because Starlin Castro coming over to the New York Yankees is obviously going to be, the better favorite to be starting at second base or shortstop, wherever they decided to put him at. He's going to be a better option than Dustin Ackley. Or if he wants to go over to shortstop, then they want to continue his role over at shortstop. Maybe possibility he's going to be a better option, hands down, over Didi Gregorius. Now going over to none other than the Chicago Cubs. This is where it gets very fancy and very, interesting. The Chicago Cubs are a team that made the splash now. The Chicago Cubs, earlier on in the day, they signed Ben Zobrist to a pretty controversial kind of a deal here because they signed him to a 4-year, I want to say it was like an $85 million contract. It was just a huge contract for a guy who is in his, early 30s right now, and to wrap him up possibly for the rest of his career in Chicago, it's going to work out, but, it's a contract that's a little bit too much in my point for a guy who's in his, early stages of his 30s. So, regardless, they were able to sign somebody. They're able to, swap somebody. Giving Starlin Castro over to the Yankees. But also on top of that, the Chicago Cubs are able to open up some more breathing room. They're able to potentially, keep around Javier Baez, who's currently as a backup as it stands in the Cubs organization. Adam Russell's over as a starting shortstop for the team. Javier Baez is expected to be a backup if they do not flip him during day 3 of the MLB winter meetings, which will be a complete blockbuster kind of video because Javier Baez is a legitimate prospect. I know the Rays were on him, so there's a possibility that maybe Baez could end up being dealt to the Rays for Alex Cobb, which was a rumor to be potentially happen, but nothing has really came about that. But regardless, the Chicago Cubs, they do have the hitting around. They have a very young and talented team. Their rotation has just been improved a whole lot with John Lester, Jake Arrieta, John Lackey was the latest addition. So this team has taken a lot of great strides to potentially go back to the playoffs in 2016, and there is no doubt in my mind that this team can do that. The only thing that's really holding them back is kind of the weakness in their bullpen a little bit. There's not a whole lot that really stands out in there, so they decided to get a nice veteran bat and then also a nice young pitcher, a guy who can come in the early stages of games, like in Adam Warren. Adam Warren's a very young and talented star. He's at age 28, so he has a lot of baseball ahead of him. He's going to be entering, I want to say he's arbitration eligible in 2016. He's going to be an official free agent in 2019, so the Chicago Cubs have him under contract for quite a while, which is a great thing to have. They don't really have to worry about him unless they want to flip him for another pitcher or some other utilities, getting another bat in their lineup on their bench, whatever the case may be, and that's what Brendan Ryan has came over for. But stocking up in your bullpen is a must, and the Chicago Cubs just do not have the biggest of standouts. I know they got they brought back Clayton Richard, a guy who I'm personally a huge fan of. Richard has been bouncing around from minor leagues to minor leagues. He actually missed a couple of seasons. They got Rex Brothers from the Colorado Rockies, almost to the Chicago White Sox there. They got Rex Brothers coming over from the Colorado Rockies, and now you're adding Adam Warren. So you have a pretty young and talented back end of your bullpen. Guys who can come in the early stages of the game. I know they have Travis Wood, Pedro Strop, Grimm in there, and Rondon as their closer. It's a very young and talented team that's coming into play in Chicago. Theo Epstein has really turned this entire Cubs team around, calling up the players at the right time, signing the right players. The Chicago Cubs team is exciting right now, and you know what? Maybe they're not done yet. Maybe they still want to add another bullpen piece. I know that Brendan Ryan, a veteran, a guy who has been jumping around from team to team as of late. He's 33 years old, doesn't have a lot of baseball left in him, but he's an excellent defensive fielder. He's gonna be a great addition to that bench. I mean, is he dependable a whole lot of the time? No, but then again, his defensive playing abilities is fantastic, and that's probably another reason why the Chicago Cubs wanted to bring him along, just either for playing sake. He can play shortstop, he can play second base. I know he can play. I think he played third base at one point this year for the Yankees. He's just he's kind of like a Martin Prado. He can play just about any position in the infield. I just have not seen him play first base yet. So you're getting a guy who can play 3 of the 4 positions in the infield. So that's another great addition there. So let me hear you guys' opinion about this. Starlin Castro is heading over to the New York Yankees, as the Chicago Cubs have landed Adam Warren and veteran infielder Brendan Ryan. My name is Justin Kish for the Access Sports Network. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button and keep on coming back for more MLB Winter Meetings